Another video game adaptation is coming to the big screen. We already have it announced, and now we have a director attached to it. Let's find out what it is. Fight!
Whoa!
So, obviously, we're talking about Street Fighter. Yes, they had the movie in the early 90s with Jean-Claude Van Damme and Zhao Rulio, otherwise known as Professor, Gomez Adams. And they're doing it again. So I think that what they're doing is coming off of the hype from the Mortal Kombat, how that is, it's gotten a fan base. They're keeping on. They're putting out another one, I think this year. But Street Fighter has been announced. So let's go into who this person is that they have just hired. Street Fighter has found its director in Kateo Sakurai. I'm probably butchering that name, but it's close enough. And here's the thing that I was most intrigued by is that Legendary and Capcom are co-developing the adaptation of the video game franchise. So they have their hands in it because at first, and we'll see through this article. Let me just stop right there. We'll see through this article why I said something. Kateo Sakurai is kicking it to the streets. That's Double Dragon, though. Filmmaker, perhaps best known for writing, directing, and executive producing the Eric Andre Show, has been tapped to direct Street Fighter. That was one of the things that I was like, is that the only thing that about him that they're going to tout is the Eric Andre Show and his movie A Bad Trip? Is that the only thing? Because that does not bode well for something that's going to be taken a little bit more seriously because gamers have their eyes on any adaptation of beloved properties. Now, Capcom is deeply involved with this adaptation with Legendary, co-developing and co-producing. So they're doing it together. The film has a March 20th, 2026 release date from Sony. So the release date has already been announced. However, this is kind of the first that we're hearing about this. Nothing else has been reported on to my knowledge, not anything that I could find. First thing we're getting is director. My first thought is like we should have a screenplay before we even have a director announced. But anyway, they might have something like just ready to go. Now, one of the most enduring fighting video game franchises of all time. Yes, this is also one of the ones that is referenced the most, that people are fond of the most. Other than Mortal Kombat, they would be go neck and neck. They would be king and queen of the fighting game franchises, as just as far as how many people across generations know about it and have love and passion for it. It began in 1987 with the arcade. The game itself released in 91, and this was the first to offer a choice of characters and techniques, which was completely new for the time. Now, they keep on going into things about the games, but here's what we want to talk about. We want to talk about the movie because Hollywood has done an adaptation of this twice before. The 94 version, the Jean-Claude Van Damme one, that's the one that gets memed on all the time, but also has a cult following. Like people love that. It's almost like a hilariosity, if I can borrow that word from Chris Stuckman, even though he didn't coin it. It's one of those kind of things. Like it's so bad it's good, and it's at least it's a fun romp the entire time. That's the one everyone knows about. But there was a previous one was with Danny and Michael Philippou, the Australian film filmmaker that did Talk to Me. And I'm not gonna lie with you right there. Talk to Me was a sleeper hit. Like everybody talked about it for a while. It is kind of like faded into the past. I can actually vouch for that movie. That was fun. That was a good film. As far as horror goes, like I really like that movie. Definitely rewatchable. There's things that you can find in there. So those guys have done a good job with what they've been given. Also, there's something that I realized that they didn't say until the very last thing about this Kateo Sakurai guy that they were just bringing in, seemingly only doing sketch comedy shows and sketch comedy and films. What else has he been in? What else has he done, especially recently? Well, let's just show you right now. Oh, the most recent thing is Twisted Metal. Now, that definitely wasn't satire or anything like that. Knew how to handle action, knew how to handle characters and like some twists and things. Director of 4 episodes of Twisted Metal. So that kind of allays my fears just a slight bit because it shows that he has, a grasp of doing things across all spectrums. Now, he was a child actor before, so he has basically grown up in Hollywood. But I don't like the way that article portrayed and framed everything. specifically because they were just focusing on Eric Andre. Maybe that's the name that brings him attention. Maybe there will be a hashtag for Eric Andre down here in the description below just to see if it hits the algorithm a little bit more. But I think we should be paying more attention to what the guy has done, what he is responsible for, and his own meritocracy. I think this could actually be a good thing. And because Capcom and Legendary are co producing and co developing and co distributing this movie, it kind of makes me think it's like, okay, we're going to stay a little bit more true to the games. It's going to be flashy, it's going to be fun, but they're not going to go crazy wild like they did with the Jean Claude Van Damme version. That's just my thoughts on this. There might be some more that comes out in the next week. We don't know that yet. I'm assuming now that they've announced the director, we're going to get writers. We obviously have the producers and distributors, at least the top brass already announced. So like they're pulling their weight, they're putting their weight behind this guy. We're going to get a script announcement soon. We're going to get casting announcements soon. And if you guys have anything that you're hyped for, how about some casting choices? Leave them down in the comment section below. Until then, and we will report on it. Don't worry, we will report on it. This is Malty from the GCA. We will see you later on tonight. Trigger happy with Alec Baldwin's finger and Leighton Gay, our Wednesday show. Y'all have a good one. Bye bye. Weird, weird. Womp, bop, 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 bop. My mouth is dry. I'm gonna hang from video.